Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight, we have B.B. King, and this is going to be a performance from 1973. And just to give a quick bit of background, this is going to be in front of inmates, so it's going to be a prison gig. So you think quite a difficult crowd to play to. So we're going to be about a minute into the show here, but what's happened is the band have come on and BB's ready to go with his guitar, but the band have got to set up. So he's got to kind of engage the crowd and keep them entertained while the guys are getting set up. So we're just going to watch a little bit of that and see how BB gets on with keeping them entertained until the show actually starts.
Well, let me say this to you. It seemed like a lot of things have been happening today. And when I came in, I had to sign in. And I noticed one of the members of my group you seem to know very well. How did it make me feel? Make me feel good because he works with me.
I'm just going to stop it there because we've got that really low dynamic. When BB's playing, he's just caressing those strings and you can hear the drummer. The foot pedal and that snare is almost non-existent. It's just ever so slightly in there because that dynamic is so low down for the start of the track, which is one of those things that all the top bands do. But BB, you've got to remember, he was one of the innovators, and just his own vibrato, he pretty much put a stamp on that fast vibrato, which I always talk about, that particular technique that it gives the guitar a voice. So every time BB plays, the voice is always the same coming out of his guitar because of that mastery of his vibrato. Introduces that little bit of jazz, just kind of jazz infusion in there. It's really cool to pick up on and see, and there was so much that he was doing there. The other point that I want to make is that a lot of performers are great at performing and they can play their instrument well and they can sing, but they struggle to interact with the crowd outside of that bracket of performance. So like BB had here, he was on stage, and there was actually a minute before this that I didn't show. I didn't want this video to go on for too long, but check out the video if you get a chance. I'm going to link it in the description. But you can see that first minute where he's just on stage and he's now got to interact with probably one of the toughest crowds there's ever going to be in terms of playing in a prison. They're not fans, they're not people that have actually gone out, bought a ticket and have travelled to your show. Not every one of them is going to be a massive BB King fan. They're just all in that hall because that's the time they've been given. This is their entertainment. But BB gets out on stage while the rest of the band are setting up, and he interacts with the crowd on a human level. He just has got that likability and that personality that is totally separate to performing. Some people just love performing and are really great at performing, but then put them in front of a crowd of people and get them to talk, and it's suddenly out of their comfort zone. BB King is such a cool guy and such a great personality that he could entertain people. He's giving them a dialogue, and if somebody shouts out from the crowd, he'll respond to that shout, and it'll always be a cool response as well. So BB King, what a great natural all-rounder, just being able to hold people's attention, not even playing any music. So when the solo kicks in there, that real control of his playing, really soft playing to begin with, keeping that dynamic really down low, which is then going to leave him more space and more places to go. He does spend a lot of time on single notes as well, because he can get them to sing. I did some videos over the weekend of very top level technical players who spend very little time on single notes, and BB is pretty much the opposite end of the spectrum to that. He can play fast little passages, but he'll always lean towards that slower way of playing, that bluesy way, that soulful way, and emoting through the guitar. You often find that people that spend all their time playing one type or one style, they struggle sometimes to then relate that to the other way of playing. So if you just play slow all the time, people might struggle to play fast lines. If you play fast all the time, you'll struggle to slow things down. It always becomes part of your playing that you're subconsciously always playing a certain way. So it's finding that balance of throwing in little bits of speed and then breaking off into something slower. If you're always playing fast, you're always on a train ride going 100 miles an hour. If you're always playing slow, it can be tough to actually get anywhere because you're always going at a snail's pace. Whereas if you can blend those two together, then you've got a journey because you're changing speed the whole time. But let's get a little bit more into this and see what BB gets up to next.
Baby, and you are jealous when we're apart. I say you're evil. You're so evil when I'm with you, baby, and you are jealous when we're apart.
And I just want to bring in here BB's voice. Just listen to his soulful voice that he's got. It's one of those things I think that flies under the radar. A lot of people just see BB's playing and don't remember how great he was vocally. Also, look at how far he is from the mic here. It's pretty much the sound you're hearing is the sound of his voice in the hall. So he's projecting his voice without the need almost for a microphone because he's so loud with that natural resonance that he's got and such a powerful, soulful voice. But that's why he's seen as a legend, because he had great vocals, great guitar playing as well. He's got everything that you'd want as an artist.
Blue can you get, babe? But you said, I went in Cadillac. I bought you a $10 dinner, and you said, thanks for the snack. Let you live in my penthouse. You said it was just a shack. I gave you 7 children, and now you want to give them back.
And what an amazing performance that is and was. And if the hairs don't stand up on the back of your neck, there's something wrong with you. It's so difficult to pull that off, to get it to sound authentic. Imagine trying to put on the voice of a woman in one of your own songs and get it to sound as good as BB does. It's so cool, so relatable, and such a great song. Right at the end there, that last minute, where we're now going to this conversation within the song, the dynamics are really now at the top level. And we've also got, as you could hear, the brass coming in the back as well. So BB had that great understanding of dynamics and when certain sections of the band should come in and when they should take a back seat. The one thing that sticks out here for me above anything, looking back, was how great he was vocally. A lot of people might not think of that straight away because he's such a great guitarist and just played so few notes but meant so much with the notes he played on his guitar, but he meant so much in his vocal as well. It just communicated the message of the song to the audience. This is pretty much your top level of trying to win over a crowd, and BB did it before he even started playing because of his personality. I think the story behind him calling his guitars Lucille was that he played a gig and he left the venue and a fire started within the venue. So he realized then that he left his guitar inside. So he went running in and obviously saved his guitar, probably wasn't bothered about too much else, just grab that guitar and get out of there. So he managed to get out of the burning building, and then he found out later that I think the two people that were fighting and the fire somehow started, but they were fighting over a girl called Lucille, and that's then what he decides to call his guitars from then onwards. But thank you so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at. I'm going to put the link to this in the description below so you guys can check out the whole video, including that minute at the beginning when he's just chatting to the guys while the band are setting up. But if you have any more suggestions, keep those coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!